For months now, it's felt like Apple was lagging behind in the artificial intelligence revolution. The conspicuous absence of a large language model like ChatGPT, and no text-to-image models like Adobe's Firefly or Midjourney. And I've heard Matt Wolf and Matt Pro Vid AI echo similar thoughts. However, with the announcement of the new $3,500 Apple Vision headset, it's clear they've been quietly harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, but yet in subtle and impactful ways. All designed to enhance the user experience without drawing overt attention. And Apple's approach in this is distinct.
I like it.
I gotta say, I think they maintained the Apple tradition of elegance and simplicity. There is some sophisticated artificial intelligence audio processing in the new AirPod updates and the VR Apple Vision Pro. There's a new AI that listens discreetly in the background, understanding the context of every sound that comes into the headphones. And there on the device, the neural engine processor thinks about everything that it's hearing. And when I say thinks about it, I mean it uses a neural network like the way we think, and it's learned what kind of environments, what kind of other additional data sources other people have liked and disliked, allowing it to automatically use noise canceling for the things that you wouldn't want to hear and let through the sounds that you do, or amplify the sounds that you really want to hear. That's so cool. Imagine you're listening to your headphones and you're walking, you run into somebody and they want to talk to you. You don't have to actually take out your headphones. This breakthrough feature is known as adaptive audio, and it merges the best of active noise cancellation and the best of environmental transparency. And the sophisticated pattern matching machine intelligence has learned the wave frequencies of those different sounds. And with reinforcement learning and human feedback, it now can tune its model, and all of a sudden we have a better listening experience. So now let's broaden from spatial audio up to spatial computing. And now we're talking about the new VR headset, the Apple Vision Pro. Apple's using machine learning techniques inside of their new XR goggles to have some awareness from all of the cameras that are on the outside and the inside about where you're looking, what you're doing, and what's going on with the people and other objects in the environment around you. And one of the things that it's trained on is to recognize where other people's faces are in relation to you and kind of where they're looking and what they're doing, because some signals that the machine learning product has picked up on are more indicative of somebody who wants your attention and somebody who's doing their own thing. A distinguishing feature of the Apple Vision Pro is called EyeSight, and it actually displays your eyes through the goggles to people around you, which is important because you need those nonverbal cues to communicate with people in a normal way when you got this big thing on your head. It can't be a helmet, you know? Also, I'm sure like the first time out, people will like bump their shin on chairs and things like that, and they'll be like, oh, we should work that into the model too. So it'll get much better at detecting if like a dog's running towards you and you're not aware of it, or something else in your environment that just might be seen as a negative signal. And this is great. We need to step into a world where our devices have a better understanding of the environment. It's like a spider sense. It's like, whoa, that thing's trouble. Like it can notify us. So now let's talk about these VR avatars, because you might want to put on a helmet and FaceTime with someone, but the camera's an inch from your eye. So how does that work? Like, are you gonna need both a headset on here and then also a phone so that they can see you when you're talking to them? I don't think so. So along with the new Apple Vision VR goggles, they announced a new 3D avatar that you can use for FaceTime. Okay, so in the new Apple VR Vision goggles, this is not one of them, but for example, it has a bunch of cameras on the inside that look at your iris. It has cameras around the outside that look down and around, and then it has cameras that look forward, two on both sides here. So when you do a FaceTime call, because it's not back far enough to actually take a full like image of your face talking to them like you normally would, these inside cameras are gonna look at your iris, and it's gonna know where your eyes are looking. Then it's gonna look at the squinting and the eyebrows and the stuff that's happening around your facial features. It's gonna pair that with a 3D map that you have to take from the outside of your device when you first get it. So when you first get your device, you have to use the 4 cameras on the outside, which I think are like LiDAR, and they take a bunch of measurements also, to scan your face in. And then it can use that as a 3D avatar. And from that, you should get a fairly photorealistic, in real time avatar that looks just like your face, giving that traditional video conference, Zoom, sort of laptop-y, iPhone-y sort of look for anybody that you're talking with. So Apple announced a significant iPhone update to the Apple keyboard, which promises an improved user experience thanks to artificial intelligence. So if you remember the big transformer breakthrough that happened in artificial intelligence, the T in ChatGPT, it has now worked its way into a new transformer-based speech model that enhances the dictation and autocorrect when you start to speak and talk and type into your iPhone. This new intelligent keyboard can adapt to the ways that you type and interact with your text messages, making it much better at learning the unique wording that you use, the types of things that you autocorrect in the past that it should learn from and not do again in the future. You know, the intentional misspellings that might be like inside baseball with you and your crew, which over time should significantly decrease the time you spend fumbling around with your thumbs. Also, there's a new auto prediction, which is a feature I've loved since it was introduced in Google Docs. So now when I'm typing in notes and you have a sentence, it's, you know, taking a guess as to what the sentence is going to be fully formed, and a lot of times it's right. So then you can just hit tab and jump to the end. Saves you a lot of typing. They also made a pretty funny joke in the presentation that was a hint towards the problem iPhones have with autocorrecting to the word duck or ducking. There you go, so look for the new Apple keyboard. More wearing, less time. Incremental advancements in artificial intelligence from voice to text transcriptions have now got to the point where we can use it in a few new interesting ways. And that's what live voicemail is all about. It's AI that we're already sort of familiar with, but now it has to happen at such a precise level. It has to happen on board using their neural engine so quickly that somebody can leave a voice message and you can see it in exactly the amount of time it takes them to say it. And that's live voicemail. It's a feature, but it's really just one of those incremental things where, yeah, that's nice. I can see who this person is and they're not even finished with their voice message yet, so I can tell I do want to pick it up. Now I will accept the call. Apple's artificial intelligence to remove backgrounds from around people, which is a pretty tricky problem, and we've only recently started getting good enough at it that it doesn't look too wonky. Quickly taken that technology and decided to use it in a nice innovative way to make them stickers. Yeah, stickers, you know, like you could use them as little GIFs or little accents as you're going around making text messages. And it looks cool. They live sort of in messages and you can grab them and pinch them and rotate them and put them in all sorts of places that you couldn't before, including taking them outside of the Messages app and putting them in your notes and other types of things. So yeah, I like it. It feels more like a real life way of interacting with stuff. You know, a little thing, but possible because machine learning lets us understand the objects that are inside of photographs and videos now, pull them out, and Apple did a great job of thinking up new ways to use that kind of a technology. So now I want to talk about Apple's new journaling app, because from a machine learning and artificial intelligence point of view, this is maybe a really important piece that I didn't see at first. So the new journaling app, something I didn't think I needed. Like I have notes or Google Docs or all sorts of different ways to save and write and make stuff already. But they emphasized at the Apple event that this is about sharing what it is you want essentially out of a personal assistant. I think this is a way for them to collect data about people that can help them craft something that doesn't exist yet but will in the future. Because I kept wondering, like, why are you talking about how secure it is? Like, are you worried about like teenagers like writing about the girl that they have a crush on in their journal and like that getting out? And then I was like, oh, this is the data collection tool that you're gonna use to craft the perfect assistant in the future. That's why this tool is meant to know about my personal feelings, the places that I go, the recurring events in my life. This is where Apple connects the dots for the long-term vision, something where Siri becomes maybe embodied or everywhere in your life, and it does all sorts of things like unlock that door or drive this car over here. And if I'm overthinking it and that's not really Apple's goal, then it's just a stupid, redundant, pointless app, and I don't know why they built it. Apple introduced a new artificial intelligent update to the Photos app. It's nothing to write home about, but it is better at classifying images. So behind the scenes, probably supervised machine learning did label categorization. They made an update, and now it's better at seeing the faces in low quality and obscure images. And also, it's now better with pets. It's better at knowing two different dogs that look very similar and putting them in their own category, which is great because sometimes you see those like old women with two pugs and you're like, I can't tell which one's which, you know? Now I'll just snap a photo of one, see which category it puts it in. And now you no longer need to get Snooki and Snookins confused because they're two different dogs, two different names, two different faces. Apple has introduced a new machine learning technique into PDFs. all right. You know, signing a PDF, filling out a form, it's never straightforward. Sometimes I bring it up on my MacBook and then I have to like go with my human eyes, figure out where the spaces are that I actually want to fill in. Apple identified that as a machine learning problem and they have solved it. Mac OS can now identify forms inside of PDF documents, whether those be downloaded from the internet or photos that you take of a physical document. That's machine learning at its best. In the background, making our life easier. Love it. So Apple introduced a new R1 processor. R, that's right. R is in Ralph. That's not one of the M1 processors that we expected to see. So I can speculate that they built the system the way they wanted it. They knew what speeds they wanted and they plugged the M2 Ultra chip in there and it just was like, I can't keep up. And what you do at that point is similar to the same thing that Google had to go through when they built the tensor processing unit, that Tesla had to go through when they put together the Dojo supercomputer, when they had to design chips to make their machine learning process faster. So somewhere at some chip manufacturing company, there is an artificial intelligence that says, show me the signals that you want to optimize. And Apple might have gone in there and said, here's all the cameras on the new device, here's how fast we need it to go. Can you optimize a chipset to make that happen specifically? And then you run the machine learning model, it optimizes the layout for the chipset, you send that thing to go be fabricated, and boom, you have a chipset that's specific for your device, and it offloads the most important parts of what you need to make that optimization to lag go away. Okay, so a lot of speculation there, but that's how a chip like R1 might have come into existence, so I just wanted to share it with you. And one of the most straightforward uses of artificial intelligence, remove the background from video calls. Same technology we saw on the stickers is now applied to FaceTime. No more distracting backgrounds that fade in and out like all those crazy Zoom calls that keep you more distracted than they do focused. And Apple introduced a couple movable overlays which look pretty sleek. You can put yourself in a nice little circle there, move yourself around the screen, or use the big version which gives you like a news reporter kind of position. However, this feature is all about quality of execution. How good is your machine learning model at removing the background and keeping the person, no matter what color shirt they're wearing, no matter how they're moving around, what their hairstyle is like, because this is one of those features that I think looks amazing if it works 100% of the time. But if it works 95% of the time and it's close but just not there yet, it's just where we were before, you know? So the demo looked good, but I have to see it to believe it. Smash that subscribe button.